Imagine a time when Roman politics were as cutthroat as the gladiatorial games. It's the year 69 AD, also known as the Year of the Four Emperors. In the heart of the Roman Empire, the air was thick with uncertainty and the scent of impending revolution. The year 69 AD was a time of unparalleled political unrest, a year marked by power struggles and chaos. The throne of the Roman Empire, a position once revered and feared in equal measure, was to be occupied by four different leaders over the course of 12 tumultuous months. This period, aptly named the Year of the Four Emperors, was characterized by a rapid succession of rulers, each grappling for control over the sprawling empire. It was a time when alliances were as fickle as the Roman winds, and a man's fate could change as quickly as the roll of a dice in the Roman Forum. The first to mount the throne in this volatile year was Servius Sulpicius Galba. An old man, his reign was short and marked by financial crisis and discontent among the legions. His downfall was swift, betrayed by those he trusted. Next came our protagonist, Marcus Salvius Otho, a man whose story we will delve into shortly. But his reign too was ephemeral, lasting a mere 3 months. Then there was Aulus Vitellius, a man of indulgence whose reign was marked by feasting and extravagance. His rule, however, was as short-lived as his predecessors, brought down by the very legions that once supported him. Lastly, there was Titus Flavius Vespasianus, known as Vespasian, whose decade-long reign brought a semblance of stability back to the Roman Empire. These were men of ambition, of ruthlessness, and, in some cases, of despair. They rose to power amidst the chaos, their reigns a reflection of the instability that characterized the Roman Empire during this period. In this volatile political landscape, our protagonist Otho rises to power. Otho, a man of ambition and cunning, isn't a bystander in these tumultuous times. He played the game of power with a ruthlessness that would make even the most hardened Roman patrician blush. Otho, once a close friend and ally of Emperor Nero, found himself in the perfect position to seize control during the chaotic period following Nero's death. The power vacuum left by Nero's demise was filled by Emperor Galba, a man who was not known for his popularity. Galba's rule was marred by mistrust and dissent, creating the ideal breeding ground for Otho's ambitions. Otho, who had been a loyal supporter of Galba, began to feel the sting of betrayal when he was passed over for adoption in favor of a younger man, Lucius Calpurnius Piso. This was more than just a snub. It was a clear signal that Otho was not in Galba's plans for the future of Rome. A slight that Otho would not forget nor forgive. With his ambitions thwarted and his pride wounded, Otho began to plot against Galba. He conspired with disgruntled members of the Praetorian Guard, Rome's elite military force, promising them a hefty bounty if they would support his claim to the throne. The seeds of betrayal were sown and the stage was set for a palace coup. On the 15th of January in the year 69, Otho made his move. With the Praetorian Guard by his side, he confronted Galba in the heart of Rome. In the ensuing chaos, Galba was killed and Otho was proclaimed emperor by his loyal supporters. Otho's ascension to power was swift and brutal, a testament to his ruthless ambition. He had navigated the treacherous waters of Roman politics, outsmarting his rivals and seizing the throne for himself. With Galba out of the picture, Otho seizes the throne. Otho's reign, though short, is far from uneventful. From the moment he ascended to the throne in January of 69 AD, he was a whirlwind of activity. His reign, lasting a mere 3 months, was marked by a series of bold attempts to win public favor and a determined effort to restore the policies of his predecessor Nero. Otho's rule was characterized by a distinct sense of urgency. He understood that his hold on power was precarious and that he needed to secure the loyalty of the Roman populace. To this end, he embarked on a series of public works projects and enacted policies aimed at improving the lives of the common people. He reduced taxes, increased public spending, and even promised to restore the spectacles and entertainments that had been a hallmark of Nero's reign. But Otho's efforts to win the hearts of the Roman people weren't limited to domestic policy. He also sought to restore Nero's foreign policies, particularly in regard to the eastern provinces. He attempted to reconcile with the Parthian Empire and to re-establish Roman influence in Armenia, a clear indication of his intent to follow in Nero's footsteps. However, despite his best intentions, Otho's reign was marred by conflict. A revolt led by Vitellius, the governor of Germania Inferior, threatened Otho's hold on power. Vitellius, dissatisfied with Otho's ascension to the throne, rallied his forces and marched on Rome, igniting a civil war. Otho, undeterred, prepared to meet Vitellius in battle. He rallied his legions and marched north, determined to quash the rebellion and secure his reign. This conflict would culminate in the decisive Battle of Bedriacum, a confrontation that would ultimately decide the fate of Otho's rule. Despite his best efforts, Otho's reign is challenged by Vitellius, leading to the decisive Battle of Bedriacum. Otho's reign, built on a foundation of ambition and conspiracy, inevitably faces its downfall. But not before one last stand, the Battle of Bedriacum. This decisive confrontation against Vitellius, another contender for the throne, proves to be the turning point for Otho's rule. In the spring of the year 69, legions loyal to Otho clashed with those of Vitellius near the village of Bedriacum in northern Italy. The battle was fierce, with both sides displaying tremendous tenacity, but the scales tipped in Vitellius's favor. Otho's forces were defeated, and with this loss, his grip on the throne slipped away. In the aftermath of his defeat, Otho faced a choice. He could have continued the fight, drawing Rome further into civil war, or he could step aside and let Vitellius take the throne. But Otho, ever the maverick, chose a third path. He decided to commit suicide, a move seen not as an act of cowardice, but as one of profound sacrifice. In the early morning of April 17th, Otho bade farewell to his friends, his soldiers, and his life. His final words were said to be, "It is far more just to perish one for all than many for one." With these words, Otho plunged a dagger into his heart, thus ending his brief reign of a mere 3 months and 5 days. His unexpected decision to take his own life rather than prolong the conflict was seen by many as a noble act. Otho, who had ascended to power through conspiracy and ambition, chose to die for the greater good of Rome, sparing it from further bloodshed and chaos. In a final act of sacrifice, Otho takes his own life, ending his brief but impactful reign.